We're live. What's up, Wolf?
Yes.
How are you?
It's a beautiful sunny day here in the San Francisco Bay Area.
Same
Just
here.
I attended a roundtable discussion on homelessness as a property manager, so that was nice to get some input into what I think the world should be doing. But it was good
As a housing provider.
as a housing provider. That's right.
All right. So we're going to be talking about marketing your property management business in 2026. We're going to be talking about yellow pages. We're going to be talking about radio ads. No, I'm just kidding. We got some new ideas.
Shopping carts,
Yep.
bus backs, and billboards.
Yeah. Nailed it. Nailed it. Just end the webinar. Okay.
Oh, that's for realtors. I'm sorry.
So you're watching Peter and the Wolf live. We do the show monthly, and Wolf and myself are property management operators like most of you. So we both own and run property management businesses. And I just wanted to mention that this series is sponsored by Lead Simple. So Peter and the Wolf 2026 season, sponsored by Lead Simple, hosted by Crane. And by the way, Crane applications are open in case you didn't hear. You probably heard because we've been blasting the heck out of every platform, every email. So sorry.
But we didn't do bus backs, billboards,
well,
and
that
carts,
opportunity
so
missed. I mean, no wonder. That explains a lot. But we're going to be talking about marketing. So I've got my notes. I've got my ideas on how we've grown from 0 to 750 doors. We just hit 750 this week, which is a big milestone for us. We're excited.
Yeah.
And so yeah, what still works in 2026? What else, Wolf, or do you want to just jump in?
Yeah, no, I definitely captured some notes and thoughts on, what's pushing and moving. I say that. What's moving the needle
What's moving the needle?
in 2026? And, I think that the frustrating part that some people may be feeling that are on this call is like, look, I've been doing this for 20 plus years. I'm a veteran. We got great operations. We got this. Why is this brand new 3-year-old company getting the leads and I'm not, right? And I think that could probably cause people a lot of anxiety because they could be a great operator, right? If you've survived 20 plus years, you're probably doing a good job. You got good team, you got all those things, and you're like, why am I not getting leads? Why is this new person who's a joke? Why are they getting leads? Why are they growing? And people I think feel that things have shifted when it comes to marketing, but they may not know, well, what should I be doing? They hear things because there's a lot of noise. There's a lot of vendors out there that are got a range of products and services, and people want to know, like, well, what should I be doing? So I think we start off with what I think is number one, and that's the number one trust signal. That's reviews. I think that is by far the most important thing to go and chase, both for renters and for owners, but Google, the SEO piece, reviews hold a ton of weight.
Okay. We do need to spend some time on reviews. So let's just do it now.
Yeah.
Let's talk about platform by platform. So we've got Google, which is the big one, obviously. What do you think, Wolf, is the minimum score on Google where once you hit it, it's like, don't stress anymore. You're sufficiently high that you no longer need to invest marketing dollars in this channel.
Ooh, the minimum
Because I don't think you need
score.
a 5. I don't think you need a
No.
4.9.
I think actually a 5 is a red flag in my opinion. I'm gonna say 4.5.
4.5? Okay.
Yeah.
The folks at 4.5 are thrilled with this free buzz marketing we just gave them. We still use them for our website company. Good people. Yeah, I think I'm agreeing with you. I see a lot of operators who have 4.7, 4.8, and they're investing all of this energy and paying employees and all this work to continue to drive reviews. And like, you made it, bro, chill. Like, you got it. Job, mission accomplished. Roll out the banner, right? And then people get excited about the number of reviews. Once it's over a few hundred, if you're considering hiring a property manager and one property management company has 1,200 reviews and another has 800, like, does that really matter? You're probably going to call them both. I don't know that the number of views. So maybe I'm wrong on this,
I agree
but
with that to an extent because for the human, right, but for the AI and that new type of searching, which I'm sure we're going to talk about, they look at velocity, which is how old are the reviews, and are you getting new ones
Well, stop bringing
regularly?
facts into my made up reasons for why I believe things. Okay,
Just
just let me
saying.
be blissfully ignorant and happy with my Google score.
But I mean, you're right. As far as the human goes, like, oh, this person's a 4.6, that one's a 3, you're going to call a 4.6. And I 100%, I think there is a point of diminishing return where increasing your spend, whether it's, employee time, incentives to employees to get reviews, all that, I think to a certain point probably does, taper off, and you could probably redirect some of those resources into other channels. But I wouldn't, once you hit that magic number, I probably would still keep doing it, because you want to have a certain amount of fresh reviews, because AI's caught
Sure.
on to the game of, you know, review farms and just hurry up, give me my 200 and then I'm out. Like they've kind of
Yeah.
caught on to that. So, but I do agree that at a certain point, you can focus somewhere else, still keep it going, but divert the focus.
Okay.
People talk about like, should I pay for Yelp and all that stuff? Me personally, the only thing we pay Yelp for is to get the badge that says we're licensed. We turned off all the extra protection racket stuff that they were trying to force us to buy and all that. So,
Yeah, Yelp is such a big thing in California there. It's not as a big of a factor here in the rest of the country. Maybe it's coastal, I don't know. So we made a push on Yelp recently. I got mad about it. Didn't really work that well. I mean, we got a bunch of them got suppressed. Then I got mad and stopped paying attention again. So,
and then
um,
cousin Guido from Yelp showed up to bust your kneecaps because it wanted its monthly fee, and
see, I don't buy that the paying for it actually changes which
it
reviews are
doesn't. But they
suppressed.
make you think it does. It's almost like the
Yeah.
Better Business Bureau.
So before we move on from Google, though, I did want to talk about something we're doing and that I've seen some advanced operators do, which is setting up new office locations on Google Maps. So we actually leased a secondary tiny little office and set up a Google profile for it and didn't have any trouble getting verified. A lot of people are stressing online about how hard it is to get another office verified. It wasn't hard for us. It's worth a shot because if you can get Google reviews on that now, it's confusing because when you set it up, it's basically like a brand new company. It's not linked
Yeah.
at all into your OG profile. It's treated as a completely new company, new business. Now you set up the same phone number, same website. There's no issues with that. Add the photos and start driving reviews to that profile because what will happen is any rental properties or any property owners who are searching near that other office, you will show up higher
Mm-hmm.
because the where you rank on the Google Map pack is highly related to what the person is searching for and where your office is physically located. Unfortunately, you can't just define, well, apparently they do have like a service area thing, but it doesn't work very well. So you
Correct.
really need like two, three, four offices technically to have great coverage on a whole metro area.
Yeah. And I think, with Google, I'm sure everybody's familiar with, the Google business profile, getting that set up. That's super important. I want to give attribution to this next trick to Brian Birdie at PM Systems Conference. I don't know how we were talking about it, but it was such a great tip. We are redoing all of our signs. I mean, like our for lease signs. So when somebody calls your company using the Google Call Now feature, that like jumps you up tremendously in Google's eyes. And it's just like we're talking like hundreds of percent better for Google. So what he does is there is no phone number on their signs, it's the company name. So what does that force you to do? To Google it. And when you Google it, you're going to get Google's, if you have the right schema on your website and on your profile, it's going to have the call now button that says, oh, call ABC Property Management. And it's being routed through Google. But now Google's like, yeah, Rockstar, you're using our service and your local SEO, you're an expert. So that 100% from Brian Birdie. I don't want to claim that tip, but we are fully implementing that because I think it's an amazing idea for that. Sarah says you have to disclose brokerage phone numbers on all signs. That's, I think, state by state. I don't know, and if that's the case, then that's the case, but I think
Mm,
that's a pretty pretty cool thing to do for that. So like in
Very
California, we have
interesting.
to put your license number, your brokerage license number. But yeah, no phone number, license be good. Um, yeah, so
Okay.
that's a little trick.
All right. Last online platform before we move on to different areas of marketing is going to be the BBB. Do you mess with BBB?
No, but it's messed with us. We actually have one right now where the single family home, the neighbor next door, quite honestly, is just racist and is trying to get this other tenant to move. And we got lots of drama. She just filed a complaint on us, but she filed it on my dad's business, not mine. So I'm like, ignore. So yeah. So what's the tip with BBB?
I got nothing on BBB. I just wanted to see if you were messing with it.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
another protection racket. For those that don't know, the BBB is not a government entity. It's nothing official. It is another protection racket that makes you think like you got to do something with it. Consumers do put a lot of weight to it, but it is not a government entity.
okay. I want to share some information about marketing from a recent survey. So we surveyed Crane members earlier this year. We got over 100 responses in the survey about marketing effectiveness. Okay, so these are leaders in the industry, minimum 150 doors to even be considered for membership inside Crane. And just a couple slides here. One, we asked about growth in terms of door count, gross doors added, so pre-churn basically. Average Crane member added 108 doors in 2025, down a little bit from when we last surveyed in late 2023. Well, we surveyed in 24 for 23 numbers. So you can see the breakdown here of number of doors added, with majority being that 0 to 49 and kind of dropping off, which makes sense. And then we also looked at marketing spend. So 2025 marketing spend. By the way, we'll drop a link. Amy, if you could drop a link to download this full report for anyone who's interested. This is like a 30 some page report with tons of information, not just marketing, but financials, operations, team, all kinds of stuff. 2025 marketing spend. A lot of folks are keeping their purse closed when it comes to marketing spend with less than $5,000. Almost half of Crane members are finding ways to grow without spending much money, and kind of an even distribution from there. Almost 10% are spending over $100,000 a year in marketing, which is pretty remarkable in and of itself. Also wanted to do this most successful marketing channel. Word of mouth is still dominant, and we're going to talk about that today with
Yep.
almost 50% of Crane members citing it as their number one source for new owner leads, and pretty steep drop off from there, with number two being website, number three Google, paid ads, SEO, reviews, paid leads, socials, and then radio direct mail kind of near the bottom there. So just wanted to share kind of those results from a very recent survey of property management operators on marketing. Okay, so let's talk now about, let's jump into referrals because that was the number one source. This is an area that we have turned our attention to this year in a big way,
Mm-hmm.
and we had been neglecting, honestly. So I've got a couple thoughts on it, on how to make it effective. Has this been a big source of new owner leads for you, Wolf?
Absolutely. It is our number one driver. And I think
Now, is this owner current customer referrals or realtor referrals, or are you
current customer.
okay?
Yeah, the whole realtor thing, like we could probably do a whole session on that in my love hate real even though I am a realtor and pay my blood money, it's a love hate relationship. But I think there's a referral trap that sometimes people can get caught in where great reputation, they're getting referrals, and they're like, yeah, I got it, but they're invisible online. Like you still got to do both. You can be both known and findable. Like that's important. So don't just say, you know what, I'm the referral master, I'm doing all these things. You still got to be findable because it's about the right people at the right time finding the right property manager. But just don't fall into that trap would be my first 2 cents.
So we do pay a realtor referral fee because that is one thing you can pay realtors, but you can't pay the general public. You can't pay your
Right.
customers to refer. So we recently drastically upped what we pay realtors for referrals, and we have started to notice them come in more. Maybe Andrew, if he's still watching, can kind of summarize, what we've done and what we're seeing in the chat there. But um, Yeah, and in terms of owner referrals, here's my thoughts on the owner referrals. We can't really pay them money, at least per licensing law because they're not licensed. Now, can we comp them, months of management? I don't know. Maybe that's a gray area, but I will say that we recently made the change from the inferior way of organizing a management company, which is departmental. I hope Mark, I hope I've got a couple friends who I'm really arguing with about this right now. So I'm going to just,
Adam Willis is
yeah,
really
Adam
chanting right
Willis is who
now,
I
like,
really
woo!
hope is watching this. From the inferior way of organizing to the superior way of organizing, which is pods and pod hybrid. I'm joking. I like departmental too. But when we made that change, now all of a sudden, all the clients have a specific property manager that they have a relationship with, whereas before they would just call our main office and kind of speak with whoever. And I have this belief that because they now have a personal relationship with somebody at the company who's like taking care of them and their property, they're way more likely to mention this to others who may ask. Like if you own a rental property and and Sarah at RL Property Management is your property manager, and you run into someone else who has a duplexes and complaining about how they're always getting calls from tenants, you're gonna say, "Dude, let me introduce you to Sarah. Like I'll put you
Yeah.
in a group chat with her right now. Let me introduce you. She does a great job for me, right? And now you look like a hero to your buddy who owns rental properties, and you kind of feel good because you're helping Sarah out. And it's like this very human to human thing that I just don't think was really going to happen under our old model where it's like, well, you should probably hire RL property management. I don't know, like I guess call the main office and it just doesn't work. It doesn't flow the same way. So that's my belief around this owner referrals thing. What do you think about that?
I agree. People want the inside track, the inside scoop. They want the hookup, right? Like nobody says, you know what? You should go to Home Depot, right? They say, no, you need to go talk
Yeah.
to Jim at Ace Hardware in the landscaping department. He will get you the right plants, right? Like I know Jim. Like, okay, cool. Let me name drop. That's what people want. So I 100% agree on that. We've struggled with that through the years as we've kind of changed how we want to do business and things, and it comes down to people want to do business with those that they like and trust. And I think there's a lot of different ways to accomplish that, but that ultimately that is the win.
They want to do business with people. They
Yeah.
don't want to do business with companies. Drea Hespin first turned me on. That's not her last name anymore, but she first turned me on to this years and years and years ago at an NARPM conference. I saw her speak about like social media marketing, and she was really clear. Like people want to do people want to do business with people, not
Yeah.
companies. So show up online as your name, not your company. Now you do a little bit of company stuff too, but you guys know me as Peter Lohmann, not RL Property Management, right? And there's a reason for that. So yeah, that's about all I've got on referrals though.
Yeah. And I think the other thing is having a system to ask, make the ask. You can't be
Mm.
haphazardly or whenever, like when you remember, like it's got to be part of the system that you ask.
Say more about
This
that. When should we ask? How do we ask?
So, like realtors, you'll see all the time on their business cards, never too busy to take your referral or some other lame tagline that somebody told them that they should put on their business card. So they hand it out. Like that's one way you could do it. But there are certain, and I forget the guy's name, Talk Triggers, the book, right? Actually, is he the one that's speaking at Broker Owner?
I don't know. There's
No.
probably someone on the committee in chat who can share that with
Yeah,
us.
I think so. I forget the author's name. But anyways, Talk Triggers. There are certain um sorry, my phone's ringing. I
Take
forgot
the
to
call.
listen.
We're not busy.
Do not disturb. Yeah. That there are certain talk triggers and processes that are good times to ask for the referral. So just put that into your process, right? A great time is tenant move in, right? You filled the property. Hopefully your days without revenue was short. That's a distance from when previous tenant moves out to the new one moves in. And if it is, and you're doing well, that is a great time to ask for a referral because you just did a great job. Another time might be, just after, move in, right? So you have to find what these talk triggers are and just put it in there, like make it an actual step where you ask for a referral. I would recommend a phone call. I wouldn't do an auto canned email. It says, hey, your tenant moved in. Life's great. Click these links to, give us a review. And we would like a referral as well. Like it just doesn't
Yeah.
work. Like do a phone call, but prompt, make it systematic, like a prompt, like, hey, call the owner, give them an update and ask for the referral. I think that's something to help is actually make it part of your systems.
Alex Hormozy has a great way of talking about when to ask for an upsell versus when to ask for a
Mm,
referral. I'm kind of
yes.
pulling together a few different things he said, but you want to ask for an upsell not at the moment of greatest happiness or fulfillment, but at the moment of greatest demand. So he gives an example of, let's say you own a restaurant within just like a steakhouse. Couple walks in, sits down, they're ready to eat, and you deliver a fantastic steak dinner. They're thrilled, right? They're stuffed. They had a great big steak. And then you come over and say, "You guys all done?" They say, "Yeah, we're full. We're stuffed." Okay, do you want to buy some more steak? And they're like, "Well, no,
Dessert?
we're good. What do you mean?" And they're like, "Well, didn't you like it?" And they're just like, "Dude, like, yeah, yeah, it's fine, but like, we're good on the steak, right?" So Alex talks about like the moment to ask about like selling extra steak to maybe take home or freeze or whatever
Hmm.
would be
Hmm.
when they're ordering the steak in the first place and they're still hungry. So the
Yeah.
moment of greatest demand. But I actually think the moment of greatest satisfaction is when you ask for that referral, right? So
Right.
come back to that moment at the table. They're stuffed. They just had great steak. Do you like your steak? Oh, we loved it. Great. Who do you think would actually enjoy coming here? Because we have a
Right.
discount on gift cards and you guys can get your friends here, right? That's when you do the referral thing. So that's, a little distillation of some Hermosi wisdom. Hopefully I didn't mangle that.
No, you did a good job on that one, but it is, those talk triggers or the moments of fulfillment, whatever. It's identify those in your processes, and I start off with just one. Like people hearing this are like, oh my gosh, I got to redo all my. No, just pick one process, and like you know what, we're just going to start with one. Put that action item in there, the phone call, and just start. Go from there because after a while, that momentum will start generating referrals without you having to be so extremely proactive about it.
Yeah. Okay. I was going to drop a link to a blog post I wrote a long time ago, which is still relevant, talking about marketing your property management company. So this is on my website. This is some basics. I don't want to like go through this whole list. But if you want to just kind of read something that I've written about marketing, I wrote this and I still send this out to people all the time when they ask me about marketing. So a lot of stuff that we've covered many times before, like answering the phone, building an email list, tracking leads. All of this is important for marketing. What do you think, Wolf, about like niching down? Like, we've had success in Crane by narrowly being pretty restrictive in who we have selected as our target demographic, as our target customers. And I think often about, am I in my property management business not being selective enough and not being niched down enough that makes an impression on people? So
Yeah.
the example I usually go to is like, what if you started a management company and you're like, I'm starting a management company. It's called Duplex Unlimited. All we do is manage duplexes. If you don't have a duplex, get the hell out. Won't even take your call. Not interested. Three
Yeah.
units, gone. So here's the door. Only duplexes, right? And you're
What
thinking,
about
that's
two houses
insane.
on one lot?
No, forget it. It's got to be connected. Uh, Now, that sounds stupid and ridiculous because you're cutting your TAM, your total addressable market, down massively, right? But on the other hand, if you own a duplex and you got a thing in the mail that was like, "We only manage duplexes," you're gonna flip it over and see what's on the other side of that card because that's interesting, and
Yeah.
you automatically have this perception of a higher level of expertise, care, and attention because you see that they're so narrow and specific in what they do. So I think a lot about like we have narrowed it up over the years and our marketing is targeted and tailored in that way, but there's a lot more we could do. So, how do you think about this?
Yeah, so I think so. There's a couple benefits. So I totally believe niches get riches. I think is the bumper sticker statement, or niches get success, however you want to post it. The benefit is it helps you with your systems, right? Systems beat hustle all day long. So by being able to narrow down the type of client and property you serve, you can really make your systems a lot less fragile because they'll have less conditional logic. But we market to a pretty small market. So like because I don't like to drive. Not that I don't like to drive, but traffic in the Bay Area, like I could cover the whole Bay Area. But for those who know the area, there's so many different regions. They're like totally different worlds. So we have literally like between a 5-7 mile radius. That's it. That's all I desire to do.
Really?
Yeah. Super narrow.
Wow.
Does that prevent us from having massive growth? Absolutely, but that's the way I want it. And we focus on properties that are 4 to 3 bedrooms, certain square footage, certain lot size, no pool, like pretty narrow because that's what we want to have our systems around.
Mm.
One area that we're exploring, and I know some people are like, "Oh my gosh, you're nuts, Wolf." Um, we have source of income protection in California, and do we really want to be known as experts in helping landlords with Section 8? So we're exploring that and seeing that as a potential niche that
You
maybe
do?
could be
You do or you
beneficial.
don't want that?
We're exploring it. So we don't have an option. Like we have to work with those that however they get their income, they get their income. But is that a big enough niche that it might be good to be known as an expert for landlords? Because landlords see like guaranteed income, right? So we're exploring, is there a way to make that doable? We'll see. But
Okay.
I think like that's a niche to we're exploring. But I in general, I do believe niching down is the way to go. But yes, I don't know if you want to be just the duplex only people. Maybe apartments. Say like, hey, we only do apartments that are 5 to 15 units. That might
Sure.
work, but you could get too nichey.
Okay, there's two big topics I want to make sure we hit. Yeah, one is like marketing talent. So, do you have an in-house marketer? Do you hire an agency? Do you do a
Mm-hmm.
fractional? So, we're definitely going to talk about that because I've tried all three. The other thing I want to make sure we hit on is content strategy. Social media, YouTube, podcasts, like content and socials. I want to see how that fits into everyone's plans or yours and my plans moving forward because that's been through a lot of evolutions over the years. So, where do you want to start out of those two big ones?
I think the talent piece, because I think when people hear talent, they're thinking like, I got to hire super expensive and that's just out of reach, we're too small. So I can start with that. So we're a smaller company by design, but we have a dedicated marketing person. She is in Nicaragua. She has experience. She worked with Chase and some other large companies and learned some really cool stuff. She handles the marketing, right? Digital. Can she do stuff and events here in the States? No, but we can do that part. She can then market it. So if you're smaller and you're thinking a dedicated marketing person is out of reach, it's not. Totally not.
Yeah, I mean, you can certainly get great marketing talent globally.
Yeah.
And for Crane members, jump into Sagan, jump into the talent pool, or do a white glove hire
Yeah.
and put marketing, and you'll definitely get some outstanding talent. Um, Couple thoughts on all this. So the agency route, hire a marketing agency. We've got some great agencies, as vendors here in our world. A lot of them are going to be at broker owner. 4.5 has been our website company for a long, long time. We relied more heavily for marketing. Sorry, we relied heavily on them for marketing in the past. They did a decent job. But the reality is, any agency that you hire has a bunch of clients, right? They've got all kinds of different customers they're working for. That's the nature of an agency. So you're never quite going to get that personalized uh, power of the sun focused on a single spot energy that you kind of need and want as a property management business owner from an agency. It's just not the nature of what they do. There's a lot of things that agencies can do really great work for, and especially if you find an expert in a specific channel, like a YouTube marketing agency or a Facebook marketing agency, and you give them a narrow task with a specific goal, I think you can get some outstanding results. But if you just think you're going to hire an agency to do marketing, it's like get me more leads. I have not seen that be a great success
Yeah.
from basically anybody that I know. And I don't think these marketing agencies are like doing anything wrong. I don't think they're scams. I don't think they're like trying to take your money or anything. I just think everybody wants leads, right? And so it's just this mad red ocean fight for these owner leads. And a marketing agency is going to do the basics. But if you want outsized results, you need to take outsized actions. And that doesn't
Mhm.
include just hiring any old marketing agency and say, get us more leads. So,
Right.
so your other options here is like you can hire someone direct, which we kind of talked about with going global. And I do want to mention there's kind of like two levels of marketer that you can hire. I want to come back to that in a second. The other option is fractional. And so we have in the past hired a fractional marketing person. Then we hired a full-time marketing person who is now fractional after sort of getting things going. Andrew, who's here in the chat. And that can be a great way to go. So when I mentioned there's like two types of marketers, you have like strategic marketing people. These are like CMOs, big company experience, big budgets, very high level strategic positioning,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
branding, things like this. Think big thoughts, right? And then the other kind of all the way on the under end of the extreme is like people who are posting on socials and writing copy and doing graphic design and that type of thing. And you kind of need both of those skill sets to be successful in the marketing function at a company. So you need to be really clear whether you're hiring fractional or hiring direct. What is this person good at? Are they good at strategic? Are they good at posting on socials?
Yeah.
It's rare to find that diamond in the rough who's great at both. Hi, Andrew. But it is, and it can be expensive. Like,
They're already putting requests for his phone number in the chat.
yeah,
Quit bumping him up. They're gonna steal him.
right. So just those are my high level thoughts. And I think expectations is a huge part of what this is. Like a lot of the disappointments around marketing come from unclear or unverbalized expectations. If your expectations are, there's a lot of different ways that marketing success can show up. It can show up in social followers, it can show up in views, it can show up in leads, it can show up in qualified leads, unqualified leads, referral partners, it can
Right.
show up in emails added to an email list. It can show up in number of content produced. So, like, what do you actually want? Now, most of you probably want qualified leads. I get that. But you need to be very clear with whoever you're dealing with. What are you at now? What's like your baseline level? Where are you trying to get? And what are you willing to spend to achieve those results?
Yeah, and I think, for the smaller companies out there that are hearing this and like, well, I can only either afford one or I can only do one. Maybe I'll have a remote team member that does the actual work of marketing versus, I'll do the strategy, but you know what? I really don't know marketing strategy. So like, how am I supposed to lead them and give direction? I think this is a great place for AI, not so much to do the work, but to help you formulate the strategy, to brainstorm and to ask you questions. So if you're thinking like, we're going to keep the strategy part in-house for whatever reason, you can pick your AI chat of choice and say, hey, this is the problem. This is what we have. I need you to interview me and ask me questions to help me formulate a strategy and just have it like I worked on a project last night for something else and it interviewed me for about 45 minutes.
They
And I
call that
just,
reverse prompting, right?
yeah. And just have it interview you and ask the questions. What are you trying to do? Da, 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 da. And then when it's done, say, okay, now formulate this into a marketing strategy and let's break it up in phases. Let's, the person who's actually going to be executing this is their talent set. This is what they're familiar with, whatever, and have it formulate that. So now you're able to kind of get a little bit of CMO that's been AI assisted, and you can give it to somebody who can now execute that plan. That maybe they're not great at formulating the plan, but they can execute the crap out of things. You can use AI to help you develop that plan and go from there. But I can tell you right now, if your prompt is just, hey, I own a management company, I need more leads, what should I do? Your results are going to be garbage.
Yeah,
So
I want
spend
to.
80% of your time in the planning part and have
Yeah.
AI just interview you and ask you questions and be honest with it. And that will pay off huge rewards.
100%. And just to underscore that, this goes for
Yeah,
whatever you're using AI for.
100%.
Instead of saying, I need this, go, you say, here's what I think I need. What I want you to do now is ask me all the questions that you need to have all the information that you need to give the result I'm after.
Right.
Let it interview you, ask you questions. Again, I think they call this reverse prompting. It's kind of like
It
a
is. I
cheat
was just
code.
using layman's
Yeah.
terms.
It's like a cheat code for using LLMs and AI because
Yeah.
if you ask it to just, yeah, hey, I own a management company, give me a marketing plan, it's going to give you something. It's gonna give you something, but it's not gonna be very good. If you
That's
say,
me
"Hey,
warm and stinky.
I own a management company. I want you to ask me a bunch of questions about who we are and what our goals are, and then produce a plan, it will do that, and it's great. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can take that document. You could, like, if you're already doing AI stuff, you could turn that into a skill so you can repeat this, all different things that you could do with it. But just, I think that skill set is something that will pay dividends, not just for marketing, but in
Yeah.
a lot of things. But it's just a good way. Like, if the whole hiring a CMO or even fractional for whatever reason is not, you're not ready for that yet, this is a good in between to help you with that strategy part.
I also think that as the owner operator of the business, you marketing is one of these things that you just kind of have to be close to.
Oh,
Um,
100%. It's your baby.
yeah, it's like unfortunately you need to be pretty involved. It's not something to where you can just hire somebody and ignore it. Like there are parts of the business where that works, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
you can find a fantastic HR person. We have done so. I haven't thought hard about HR in years because we have there's outstanding talent and you get the right marketing just it's not like that. It changes too much too fast and it's too tied up in every other part of the business, like sales and ops, like all is downstream of how you're holding yourself out as a business in the marketplace. And so the idea that you're just going to find this whatever and it's going to solve your leads issue, unfortunately, you can't, it doesn't work. So you got to kind of learn to love marketing as an owner
Yeah.
of a business.
Yep.
So speaking of which, um, Wolf, have you ever gotten an owner lead from social media?
I know we've gotten some. I'll be honest, it's not very high. Partly because for a long time we were just randomly posting, like, "Oh, we got to fill this channel. Let's post different things, or whatever." And that's good for like brand awareness. But when you post to social media without a strategy, it's gonna be terrible for lead gen because nobody searches Instagram for a property manager. Where we did get the lead was we started, and then Crane application window started, but we started doing this thing where we post videos of the move outs and like, would you return the security deposit, right? And the owner that we got was so impressed that we were willing to call out bad behavior. They're like, that's who I want on my side. So I do think it is very doable, but I can tell you that it's only worked when we actually had a strategy. When we were just randomly posting, it didn't really create leads. So that's an area where we have to do better because it takes a lot of time. It's the strategy involved, the effort, creating content consistently that's good and actually has all that. Like that's work. You can't just go live and like, okay, where are the leads? Like it's like I have a calendar, I'd go get it, but it's out of reach. Or we did our whole year, and what is our strategy? But it takes a lot of work.
Yeah. So Sarah Hatch said that she has, or she
Yeah,
does. Now I think she's very active on TikTok.
she
So
is.
yeah, and I think that is key. So a couple thoughts on this. One, I think social media is a little overrated for business. Like so social media works for a lot of things. Like I've had a lot of success with social media in different ways. Got up to 20,000 followers on Twitter. Uh, and I don't think I ever got a single property management customer out of that. Now, it was great for building up my email list, which turned into the newsletter and turned into Crane and all this other stuff. But
Yeah.
for a property management company, I think unless you are a top 1% exceptional talent at social media marketing, which Sarah is on TikTok, you may be better off investing time elsewhere. Now, I want to get a little bit more granular here because there's like social media, and I think when you say that, people think of Twitter, Facebook, Instagram,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
TikTok. But then there's these other peripheral content activities, blogs,
Yeah.
email newsletters. YouTube is kind of its own thing. I saw Trey mention that. And I think any of all of the above can be effective if you really like the platform. I actually think that's the number one
Mm.
predictor of success. If
Platform
you
passion
yourself
equals
personally,
success.
yeah, if you personally love YouTube, love making videos, love messing around with shorts, love like you will be probably be successful there. Sarah must really like TikTok and she has had success there. I love email. Hello, have you ever gotten an email newsletter from me?
Just a few.
So if you find a platform that you like, I think you can be successful on that platform. You just have to go really deep and be really consistent.
Yeah, I think to say social media doesn't work at all, clearly we'd
Yeah.
be fools because we know that it does. It's just, I think there's a trap, you get into the whole dopamine thing. Like there's a trap, like, look at all these likes I got. Yeah, well, likes don't pay bills. That's not a like is not a check in your operating account, right? So being careful about how we put our time and making sure that we're actually tracking. So, like any of this marketing stuff, if you're not actually tracking and looking at the data, you are totally wasting your time. So, if you can't track that dollar I spent on, a Google ad or promoted post or whatever, if you can't track the results, like you're just flushing money down the toilet. And the platforms love people who flush money down the toilet. So, whatever you do, make sure you track it. Going back to your point about the content, whether it's blog posts, emails, YouTube, I agree that's a totally different category. And I think that's a place to double down because the AI search frontier is loves that kind of stuff. And that's how it determines, like, are you an authority, local expert, all of that. It's looking at content and it's able to determine BS content where you're just keyword packing versus like genuine content. Like one thing we launched in Crane was the local policy
I
tracker
want
where
to talk about
people,
that. Yeah.
yeah, can track the results, how that can now turn into content to make you a local expert. And I think that's a place to double down energy. So if you have limited time and resources, I would go hard on the being a local expert and generating content that's structured and puts you as an authority. And that's like what we're trying to do more of so that we can be picked up by AI.
Yeah. I want to talk about that local regulation stuff a little more. So, you guys know I like email. So, we have a great email newsletter for our management company that Andrew has been running for a while now and is awesome. And I want to show you. Um, Wolf mentioned we launched this local regulation tracker inside Crane. I want to show you how we're now using that in our owner newsletter because I think, guys, this is some of the most powerful content you have access to as a property manager
Yeah.
is what are the local laws, landlord tenant laws that are changing in your area? Rental registries, eviction laws, security deposits, source of income, Section 8. Any of this is keywords and buzzwords that property owners perk up when they hear. And so it used to be that it was impossible to figure out what was being proposed and what was being discussed at city council and all this. Crane launched this tool that makes it really easy and you can get alerts now. And I'm sure there's other ways you could find this information too. But let me show you what it actually looks like.
And
So,
the key thing is when you say local, we're not talking state. We're talking like the city of Pittsburgh, the city of
yes.
Columbus, this school board, this air quality board, like all those local governing agencies. As long as the city has at least 2,000 people, we have access to.
So this is our RO Property Management newsletter. It goes out to current owners and prospective owners. Anyone who's ever contacted us gets added to this list. It's in Beehive. And of course, we have a bunch of stuff in here, but this local policy watch, man, I am so excited to start doing this on the regular. This email just went out like today or yesterday, and we're going to be doing this every 2 weeks now. This is like catnip for rental owners. I mean, you want to talk about keying into their emotions and just demonstrating your expertise and authority and local market knowledge. It doesn't get any better than this. Get on YouTube, start talking about this. Get on TikTok, Sarah, and start talking about this stuff. I mean, you are going to get views and comments guaranteed. So I think
100%.
if you're doing a content game for a property management company, you could do worse than just doing nothing but local policy stuff because there's always some dopey city council person introducing some harebrained idea around security deposits or whatever.
Yeah.
Let them put food on your family's table. Please introduce controversial laws. That just gives me more to talk about. It's more content,
Yeah.
it's more engagement, right?
That's
So I
right.
don't know. I'm excited about it.
Yeah. No. And, turning those into blog posts, whatever is it's critical because the AI, the search engines, they've gotten smarter. Every time we come up with a better game, they change the algorithm to beat it. And so I don't know how close they are to determining genuine authority, but it's a lot better than like 5 years ago, right? So you really have to create genuine content and not just some bogus pages that are stacked with keywords. Another thing you could do is coming up with dedicated pages on your website for the specific cities that you manage, or even getting into like neighborhoods. But don't just keyword pack it and have like some stock photos, but actually go out there. Like, so my daughter, she helps with some of our content marketing. Sadie, get in your car, and I need you to take pictures of every park in our market, and let's start loading these things up and let's write about them. But really being, we talked about niches. Being an expert in your area is going to be really critical, both on, do you know the area, but then also what are the regulations, because this anti housing provider movement is everywhere and people are worried about it. Somebody asked about lead flow. I think one of the reasons people are selling is because they're tired of being a housing provider and they're beat down, so they want to get out of the game. You now have potentially access to some great content that makes it super easy to set yourself apart from all the other people out there.
I'm not going to let the hour escape us without hyping up Mark Ainley, because he
Yes.
is the OG of property management marketing success. He runs a phenomenal property management company in Chicago and has a whole ecosystem built up with podcasts and meetups, and it's unbelievable. And so he actually hosts a monthly marketing discussion for Crane members, which I'll drop a link to the most recent one if you missed it and you want to catch the replay. But if you're in Crane or if you're joining, make sure you get LinkedIn to his everything sales and marketing hour that he does once a month. He introduced me to the idea of the one page marketing plan. He did a great webinar on that for Crane. There's a book called The One Page Marketing Plan, and he basically shared inside Crane his actual plan and budget that he produced for his management company. They're over $1,000. They're killing it, and I've learned a lot. We took that back to RL Property Management, got a lot of great ideas from it. It's just a great way to think about how you're allocating your marketing dollars and your marketing attention
Mm-hmm.
throughout the year. Because if you actually sat down and read through this, you'd be amazed that you're already doing a whole bunch of stuff that's all kind of disconnected in your mind. And when you get it all in one budget on one page, you're like, oh, yeah, we actually are doing like a bunch of different marketing efforts
Yeah.
that have dollars and people assigned to them. Let me think strategically about, do we want to double down on this? Do we want to 10x? Do we want to stop doing this? What worked last year? And so it's just a great way of like organizing a lot of what we've been talking about, really.
Yeah, and I think it's, because right now, if you're not getting at least 10 emails a day about some new AI agent, some new AI thing, you're gonna get distracted and think like, I gotta do AI for my marketing. Like, that's, I'm gonna get left behind. And the reality is all the other good practices are actually what helps you do better with AI when it comes to search results. So reviews, we talked about that. Google business profile, doing your local SEO, creating the content, be seen as authority. If you do all of that, the AI piece will take care of itself, right? Because like good SEO is about structured data on your website, and we could spend a lot of time. Like Lacey Hendricks has some good content out there about this, but all that quote unquote old school stuff is actually, if you nail that, you're already going to do well with the AI piece.
Yeah.
I saw, what is Mark in Chicago's name? It's Mark Ainley.
Yeah.
The Chicago, was it Chicago Real Estate Podcast? I forget what he calls it, but just do Mark Chicago Real Estate Podcast, it'll pop up.
Yeah.
But anyway, so like looking at that way, so you don't get stuck in this trap of like, I got to do AI, I got to get AI visibility. Like that's everything. Do that old school stuff much better and deeper, and you will naturally improve your AI visibility and showing up in the results. So don't get trapped into this. I got to buy the latest, greatest AI thing. Like nail your local SEO, nail content and being seen as an authority, and the AI will take care of itself for a lot of things.
Let's get some Q&A in the last 10 minutes. Drop your marketing questions. Anything we've talked about or anything we haven't chatted about, feel free to ask. We'll try to answer those. Um,
Yeah,
I think
Rob posted about one third of searches never make it to your site. AI is the answer instead. I think that is one more reason to produce content, because AI is going to see that and quote you in its results. Where spending a lot of time on your website, I agree, may not be the best use of time anymore. It's creating good content to set you up as an authority.
Mike says,
Uh,
curious on your thought of the quantity of posting on social. The more, the better. It used to be that if you posted a lot on this platform or another platform, they would kind of penalize you, and it would, you wouldn't be doing as well. You'd be better off posting less frequently. These days, with how everything's algorithmic, you're better off posting a lot and just see what hits. And sometimes what you can even do is like post. I mean, you can post 3, 4, 8 times a day on per platform easily and watch what does well for the things that are obviously getting views and comments. Go engage with those posts, reply to the comments, like things, and you can delete the ones that aren't doing well, and that'll give more attention to the ones that remain that you already know are doing well. So that's generally the advice these days.
yeah. Um, Trey's talking about make sure you have subtitles, that they're active for your video. Agree on that for a lot of different reasons. Um, let's see. I think those.
Maple Leaf said, "Tell us more about Four and a Half." So Four and a Half is a marketing agency. They've been around a long time. There's a few others. So PMW, property management websites. I know Lacey Hendricks just started up a marketing agency. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. There's a few others. Who am I forgetting,
I
Wolf?
think it's clear. Let me.
Clearly Digital.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
what it is.
There's
That's
another
what
one called
Lacey's one.
Upkeep Media. Yeah, there's, walk around the NARPM vendor halls, chat with these folks, and tell them what your goals are, and see what they have to say.
Yeah, it's. I think if you just go to somebody and say, "Hey, I need help getting leads," just like the chat, it's not going to help you. I think you got to show up with what's your specific pain point. What are you trying to accomplish?
The thing about all the social stuff is you're so reliant on the platforms to distribute your
Yes,
content.
you're leasing an audience.
It's very difficult to consistently show up. Ask any vendor in the PR property management world if you don't know yourself. It's very difficult to show up consistently in front of the audience that you want to be in front of. Used to be a lot easier, but now with how everything is algorithmic. So that's why I love email because email is an owned platform. If I send an email, you're getting it, whether you like it or not. Now you can unsubscribe, but anyone who has chosen to subscribe, you're going to get my emails. And there are some nuances. It's getting a little more and more challenging these days, but it still remains the one surefire way to when you send an email, someone's going to see it. Now, if you send boring emails, then pretty soon everyone's just glossing over them and they're deleting them or ignoring them. So your emails have to be good. But if you can create good content consistently, email is one of the last man standing that
Yeah.
actually delivers every time. Now,
Or
again,
if
there
you
are
send too
nuances.
many emails, like there's certain vendors, it's
Yeah,
like, holy crap, turn it off.
chill. Yep. So there are nuances, but that's why I like email. So, like, you can build up a Twitter following, but you could get banned from Twitter, or Twitter could change their algorithm, which they have,
Yep.
or someone could hack your account, or like there's a lot of things that could happen because you don't own that platform. You can't control who sees your posts. Doesn't even matter if they follow you. The most 98% of your audience on these algorithmic platforms does not see your post. Any individual post that you make, only 2% of your followers see it. So, yeah,
All right. Oh, Amy must be deleting the AI bot chat things
yeah, I think
because
she is. Yeah.
epic. Get rid of that nonsense.
Recommended marketing budget compared to percentage of revenue. I don't know that I have a good answer there. I've heard a lot of different things over the years, anywhere from 2% to 8%. I don't know. I don't have a good number. Profit Coach would probably have some good data on this.
Yeah. I think it's don't go blindly into that. It's what is the data telling you, right? Do you need to do more? Do you need to do less? Do you need to do this versus that? I think that's the important piece is um, having the data to support your decision. Hey, Amy, you missed one.
Okay, what about the question I saw about writing a book, Wolf? You written any books recently?
So I did a coloring book for our management company that
You
helps.
did?
Yeah, I have it. We don't have any fresh copies, but I have the original, and then I probably have some others in the shelf. But The book was about helping kids understand, because I was a school teacher, helping kids understand why they have to move, right? And it has, a whole thing. They
Hmm.
can color it,
Sad.
and well, it's a good thing. It was to help them because their people are moving into a new house, right? So I did a coloring book. That's the closest thing I've gone to a book. But I really think blog posts and that kind of stuff is cool. Trey, did I use a ghostwriter? No, I did use a ghost drawer though for the artwork piece, but we wrote our own wording. So
That's thoughtful.
we stopped printing them at COVID, just honestly because we stopped interacting with people. And as soon as you said the book, I was like, you know what, I need to probably place another order because it's been a while. It's been 6 years.
Oh, that's great. All right. Well, we're near the end of the hour. I want to shout out Lead Simple again. Thank you to Lead Simple for sponsoring Peter and the Wolf this year. Wolf and I are big fans of Lead Simple. We're
Yep.
shareholders, we're consultants, just full disclosure on that stuff. But we're also customers, and we've been customers long before any of that started, and we're still happy customers today. Team uses Lead Simple all the time, and they've been releasing a bunch of new products around inbox and phone. So definitely check that out.
Are you
What
going
else
to
am
Lead
I?
Simple University?
Yeah, Lead Simple University. So Wolf and I are speaking at Lead Simple University, and we'll be doing a Peter and the Wolf live from the show,
Yeah.
May 12th, 13th in Salt Lake City. It's coming up. It's in about a month. We're
Yeah.
excited to go there and visit all our friends who are going to be there. So if you're a customer or you're thinking about it, encourage you to check out Lead Simple University. Maybe
Yeah.
someone
The
will
venue
drop
is
a
pretty
link.
cool. The hotel, it's a Marriott product, but it was a former train station. It's been converted. So I'm actually kind of excited about that. The session I'm going to be doing is not so much Lead Simple specific, but it's about leading change management and how do you roll out new tech and get your team on board and all that good stuff. So pretty excited about it.
Sure. All right. I think that's all we got.
Yeah.
Oh, Aliana just dropped a link to LSU. So if you're interested, check the chat and click on that link. Okay,
All right. Let's go do some marketing.
let's go. See you guys.
See ya. Everybody have a great day.